At the beginning of the story, we see a man running from the police because he stole an expensive watch. Because Enzo is a thief who lived in Tor Bella Monica, Rome. Suddenly he hides in an old crane by the river, but the police find him there too. He jumps into the water to escape. When he tries to climb back up, he sees barrels in the water and uses them to climb. But one barrel breaks, and Enzo comes into contact with radioactive waste. Somehow, Enzo manages to pull himself out and runs back towards his home. While traveling by bus, when he coughs, a black substance comes out of his mouth. Seeing this, Enzo becomes very worried and quickly rushes back home. By evening, he feels quite uncomfortable. The next morning, we see that he is feeling better while having breakfast. After breakfast, he meets Sergio, a member of a gang, to send the stolen watch. Sergio works for a well-known gangster named Fabian, who is also called Gypsy by everyone. The two of them are discussing their plan to get back their illegal drugs from the Drug News brothers. At that moment, someone gives Fabian a phone he had ordered, and the phone is of a different color. The gangster becomes furious, beats the person who brought the phone and kills him. He then orders his men to dispose of the dead body far away. Outside, Sergio buys the watch from Enzo for 1,000 euros. Just as Enzo is about to leave after handing over the watch, Sergio asks him to join his trip, where they are going to retrieve the drugs from the brothers. Although the job is dangerous, Enzo, motivated by money, agrees to join the trip. Sergio takes him to his home, where he asks Enzo to pick up a few things. While at Sergio's place, Enzo sees Sergio's daughter, Alessia, whose room is filled with numerous drawings. Enzo gets confused and Alessia explains to him about a character from a show called Steel Animator, telling him that one day this character will surely come to save her. On the way, Sergio apologizes for his daughter's behavior and explains that she is mentally ill and obsessed with Steel Animator. The character is very special to her, and since her mother passed away, she has isolated herself from the outside world. They pick up the two brothers from the airport and take them to a construction site. The task was to extract drug packets from their bodies. However, one of the men had taken too many doses, which caused the packets in his stomach to explode, killing him. His brother, angry with Sergio for refusing to take him to the hospital, tells him that they must cut open the dead body to retrieve the drugs. Suddenly, the dead man's brother steals Sergio's gun and shoots him. However, before dying, Sergio smashes the man's head against the wall, causing the man to die or at least be severely injured. In his final moments, the man shoots at Enzo, and Enzo falls from the 10th floor of the building. Despite falling from the 10th floor, Enzo survives. He is confused and in pain, unable to fully understand what just happened. He starts running away in a daze. On the other side, at the club, Fabio, Nunzia, and the other terrorists were actually there to do a drug deal, where Fabio was supposed to send the drugs that Sergio was supposed to bring from the two brothers. However, since both the brothers and Sergio are dead, Fabio is unable to give a clear answer to his dealers, and tells them that the deal is going well, even though he knows that if Nunzia finds out the truth, he will be killed. Meanwhile, Enzo reaches home, and Alessia comes to him asking about her father. However, Enzo ignores her, and Alessia keeps knocking on his door. Enzo gets frustrated and punches the door, creating a hole in it. He gets startled and tries to move his furniture. With minimal effort, he is able to move the furniture easily. Later that night, using his newfound strength, he breaks into an ATM and steals money. On his way home, he uses the money to buy food. He feels even more unsettled when he sees that the bullet wound on his leg has completely disappeared. Fabio and his gang reach Alessia's house to threaten her into telling them about Sergio. They don't know where the deal was supposed to happen, and believe that Sergio ran away with the drugs. Fabio holds a large knife to Alessia's head and demands to know where Sergio is. Alessia doesn't know why they are there, so she remains silent, which only makes Fabio angrier. Suddenly, Enzo crashes through the window wearing a mask to hide his identity, and knocks out Fabio's men with ease using his super strength. The henchmen, terrified, quickly flee. Before running away, Fabio stabs Enzo in the foot. Alessia then decides to stay with Enzo for safety. Enzo wraps his foot with bandages to heal it, while Alessia, thinking that Enzo is her Steel Animator superhero who has come to save her once again, remains mentally unstable and doesn't say anything to him. The next morning, when Enzo removes the bandage, he realizes that his finger hasn't healed properly. He understands the situation and asks Alessia if she has any relatives with whom she could stay, as Enzo doesn't want to take on the responsibility of caring for her. Alessia tells him that her only relative is her father, so Enzo takes her to a residential care home, where she had stayed before when her father was in prison. He tells her that he will come back for her soon. Meanwhile, Enzo's ATM robbery video goes viral. Fabio watches the video and realizes that the fight took place in Sergio's apartment. However, they still haven't gotten their drugs. Fabio's right-hand man suggests that they take out a loan to pay Nunzia, but Fabio refuses the idea and instead suggests stealing a regular truck, which they were planning to hijack after the deal. Back at home, Enzo finds some papers belonging to Sergio, which contain a plan to steal a truck. The next day, Fabio and his men are hiding near the highway, waiting to steal the truck. However, Enzo arrives before them and manages to steal the truck. Fabio shoots at him, but Enzo manages to escape. Later in the evening, the police show up at Enzo's house. and they find out that Alessia had been out on the street looking for Enzo. Enzo scolds the police, insisting that they follow him back to his house. Alessia tells him that she didn't want to bring the police there. The two of them then sit together and watch Alessia's favorite anime. Enzo moves closer to her, but Alessia gets nervous and asks him to stop because she doesn't want to be hurt again. Enzo calms her down, and then Alessia opens up to him, revealing that she had been a victim of sexual abuse in the past. The next day, they go to a park together, where Alessia seems much happier. Meanwhile, Antonio and Fabio have an argument. Antonio wanted to take out a loan to get out of his financial problems, but Fabio refuses to allow it. When Antonio doesn't listen to him, Fabio orders his men to kill Antonio, and they carry out the order. At the same time, Enzo and Alessia go to a shopping mall, where Enzo buys Alessia her favorite princess dress. In the fitting room, the two of them become lost in their feelings for each other. Afterwards, Alessia becomes upset and says that she never wanted to do any of this, but Enzo tries to comfort her. This makes Alessia even more upset. Then, the news breaks about the truck robbery, and Enzo is branded as a super criminal. Even Fabio finds out, and he becomes jealous, thinking that he also wants to gain superhuman abilities like Enzo. Upset, Alessia boards a train, and Enzo stops the train with his bare hands, apologizing to her. She forgives him, but next time, she asks him to wear a mask. It's then that she realizes people are gossiping about her, and she also discovers that they had seen her when Enzo stopped the train. Enzo then quickly takes Alessia and leaves the place. Meanwhile, Fabio asks his dealer friend about a loan to pay Nunzia, but suddenly Nunzia and his men arrive in a rage. They kill Fabio's friend because Fabio couldn't pay them on time, and a shootout occurs between both parties. In the end, only Nunzia and Fabio remain alive. When Fabio returns to his office, he learns that Nunzia had already killed all of his men. At that moment, he sees Enzo's recording on the news and decides to uncover his secret. Enzo and Alessia are about to move to another city, but since the police now know about them, they stay in a hotel, and Enzo tells Alessia how his friend was killed during a robbery. Suddenly, Fabio arrives and shoots Enzo with a tranquilizer gun. When Enzo regains consciousness, he finds his whole body tied up. Fabio shows him a video of Alessia being killed and threatens him, asking about the secret of his superpowers. Enzo takes him to the river and tells him to jump. Fabio thinks Enzo wants to drown him in the water, but just then, Nunzia and his gang arrive, and a fight breaks out. Fabio and Alessia are killed, and Nunzia, seeking revenge, burns Fabio's body and throws it into the river. While dying, Alessia tells Enzo to use his powers to help others. The next day, Fabio emerges from the river alive, likely because the radioactive waste had affected him, keeping him alive. He goes to Nunzia's hideout and kills everyone there, recording it to become as famous as Anshu. At the hideout, he also finds a lot of explosives and bombs, which make him realize that Nunzia had planned to blow up the entire city. Enzo, while traveling along a broken road, witnesses a car accident. He saves a woman and her daughter from the car. The woman thanks him, and Enzo remembers Alessia's last words. Later, Fabio's video is shown on TV, where he is threatening to blow up the stadium with bombs. Fabio now has powers and wants to use them to terrorize everyone. Enzo quickly reaches the stadium, which is packed with an audience. He spots Fabio in the parking lot, holding a remote control. A scuffle ensues between them, but Fabio escapes and disappears into the stadium. After playing a game of chess, Enzo finally spots the bomb inside an ambulance. He can't defuse it, so he takes the bomb far from the stadium and throws it into the river from a bridge. However, Fabio stops him, and a fight breaks out between them. There is only 1 minute left. In the final seconds, Enzo lifts Fabio and jumps into the river. The bomb explodes just as Fabio's head hits the bridge, killing him. Later, Enzo is hailed as the city's hero, and it is assumed that he also died in the explosion. But in the end, we see Enzo from above, looking over all of Rome. He's wearing a mask, recalling Alessia's words about the train. And that's where the story ends. If you liked the video, make sure to like it and subscribe to the channel. A new video will be showing up on your screen. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.